Welcome everyone. I'm Jed Schlackman. I work as a holistic counselor as well as a hypnotherapist and energy healer. For this video I want to speak about the topic of our identity and personality and how we construct those. Also how you can kind of deconstruct or detach from those and work on your personal empowerment and spiritual growth or spiritual liberation. So we're calling this the construction and deconstruction of our personality and identity, and looking at the path of personal empowerment and spiritual liberation. First, we can explore how our personality and identity develop here in our human lifetime. So a person is born, they come through the mother's womb, they come out into this world, this physical environment and social environment, and there's multiple influences and layers impacting the development of the personality. You have what I would call genetic memory, or the information that's being transmitted from one generation to another to help support the survival and thriving of the organism. So that's carrying the memories of your ancestors and how they were able in some way to effectively adapt to their environment, to what they experienced in their lifetime. Certainly in nature, if there's a motivation or an imperative for survival, it would make sense for a species to transmit that adaptive memory from one generation to the next, so that each generation has the resources provided by the previous generations to help support its survival, its growth and reproduction, and so on. Since we are spiritual beings that are incarnating into these human bodies for these lifetimes, there's also access to memory, to information and adaptation from other lifetimes of the soul. So your higher consciousness, what you might call your higher self, has other lifetimes of experience that it can access or draw upon to assist how it creates its identity in this lifetime, how it adapts and evolves in this environment, in this life experience. So that's another factor. Then you also have what's occurring in this current lifetime or life stream as you're interacting with your current environments, with your caregivers, your parents, your siblings, your teachers, your classmates, your co-workers, so everyone basically that you're encountering potentially has some influence or impact on how you're creating your own identity. Some people in your life may be ones you see as role models, so in some way you might intend or desire to emulate those individuals, to take upon some of their characteristics into yourself and how you live your life. There are other people that you may look upon or judge in a negative or critical way, and you may reject aspects of those people, and consequently you may try to reject those aspects within yourself. You may want to try to suppress or deny certain patterns of behavior, certain instincts or tendencies or characteristics or traits. So some of those we intentionally try to elevate, and others we intentionally may try to suppress, depending on what we decide is an ideal identity or personality for ourselves. We may be seeking to survive in a certain social environment or conform to an environment to receive acceptance or validation. So we adapt to these different environments, different things in our surroundings, and those adaptations help create our identity, our personality. And this can be a very complex, multifaceted process where we don't really have a singular unified identity or personality. It's more like we have different subroutines or subpersonalities or subprograms running that can get activated depending on what environment we're encountering and what we reflexively feel we need to present in that environment. You might have one personality per se that appears when you're in your family of origin's home, another one when you're with a spouse or intimate partner, another persona that you show when you're around children, another one that you display when you're in a particular workplace or an employment environment, another one where you're with some club or social organization. So you can have different personalities that appear in different circumstances. It's not that you have this very rigid, refined, stable personality. Things can be a little more flexible or fluctuate depending on what stimuli are in your surroundings. So if we're trying to evolve as a person, it's useful to reflect upon this whole spectrum, this whole longitudinal historical time span of how we've constructed our identity and personality, and that's perhaps not just one singular personality, but these different subpersonalities, how we've programmed ourselves or been programmed to react to different people or situations, to different circumstances. And we can realize that all of this is somewhat temporary and limited, so none of it represents your ultimate essential nature or your deepest source of who you are. It's these time and space limited constructs that you've created in order to function as a human being, in order to survive or thrive in your physical and social environments. So if you are born on some other planet, let's say, with a completely different physical environment and different social environment, you would develop some different type of personality in order to function in those surroundings. So in each case, that personality construct or identity is a temporary, useful construct. It serves you for the purpose that you're using it, but as a spiritual being, you actually transcend that. You're not limited by that pattern of functioning or behavior, by the beliefs or perspective that guide that personality or identity. You have the potential for far more than just who you may perceive yourself to be in your human identity or personality. So the creative spiritual essence that we all originate from has this sort of unlimited potential. It can create a vast range of personalities or identities. It can adapt to many different environments or surroundings. And all of those are not the ultimate truth of who you are, of your core identity, of your energetic spiritual essence as pure creative consciousness. So if you'd like to tap into more of that potential, to be able to embrace and navigate through more of life, more possibilities, then it helps to pause and kind of deconstruct the identity that you've created, to sort of put that aside for the moment at least, so you can feel more of your greater consciousness, more of that energetic and creative potential that's present within you. You can let go of your name, your job, your roles and relationships, the things that other people have said about you or labeled you with. Let that go now and just feel yourself as pure creative consciousness, as unlimited potential, as part of an infinite essence, an essence that can limit itself, that can constrict itself to create these limited identities, but ultimately can let go of those, can detach from those identities in order to create the space, you could say, to connect with the 0 point field from which something different can be created, from which there is no real limitation or constriction. So you can take a breath now, just letting yourself settle and letting go of all that you imagine or think yourself to be, and recognizing that you're just this small stream of energy and consciousness arising from what we might call infinity, from unlimited potential, from limitless creation and expression of self. And notice how light, how liberating that feels. You don't have to conform to anything. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You can just relax in that state or space of potentiality. With each breath, you can feel or sense that that energy source is always there, always pulsing through creation, and you can tap into that energy. You can let it stream through you. You can let it refresh you, reminding you that you are recreating yourself in each moment. In this present moment of now, you're not who you were yesterday. You're not who you will be tomorrow. You're continuing to recreate yourself, to gradually evolve your identity. And this process is ultimately never ending. I hope that this discussion has given you some things to contemplate, some ideas for how you can let go of things that are constricting you or keeping you stuck or trapped, attached to your past, to give yourself the opportunity to grow and expand, to see the possibilities that are present. the limitless potential that you have the power to access. For those who are interested in personal growth and holistic health and spirituality, I invite you to visit my website, phinsights.com. That's phinsights.com. And for now, I wish each of you a wonderful day. Namaste.